Alright, got all my work done. Now it's time to play some video games. Been looking forward to this for a very long time. Hey, what is that? I have to update my system. You gotta be kidding me. How big is it? Hopefully it's small. 15 gigabytes! You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Well, I might as well just record a podcast at this point. Hello everyone and welcome to the 16th episode of Season 5. I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we jump into all the action, if you could, please thumbs up this video and make sure to subscribe and turn that notification bell. That way you don't miss any new interviews or episodes. Also, the best way to support this channel is to buy the shirts at threadless.com. A link is in the description. Each purchase directly supports SCR and allows us to continue to produce super cool content like this episode. I'm kicking off this show with new music from Helsinki-based Fearout. On May 5th, Fearout released a new EP entitled Resistenza. This new EP will expand the band's repertoire of punk rock and combines their rough edge metal rock with stoner influences. The second single, The End of the World, is a breathtakingly fast-paced metal punk song with heavy lyrics about the state of the world. I hope you enjoy Fearout. This is End of the World. Check it out.
Hunger, dressed in
Once again, that was End of the World by Fearout. Please check out and support this great band from Helsinki. Now it's time for the latest topics and news. Let's go! On to our first piece of news. Guitarist Nita Strauss has announced her next solo album, entitled The Call of the Void, will be released on July 7th through Sumerian Records. We have heard 3 songs off the album already, including Dead Inside, featuring Disturbed's David Drainman, The Wolf You Feed, featuring arch enemies Elisa Whitegloves, and Winner Takes All, featuring Alice Cooper. However, the 14-track album also features many incredible guests, including Lizzie Hale, Marty Friedman, Dorothy, Chris Motionless, and Lilith Czar. Nita Strauss also announced a new solo tour with Lions at the Gate starting on June 13th. I'm very pumped for Nita's next album. There are many awesome guest musicians who will be a part of this album, and I think that can make for some very interesting combinations of styles. I think she's branching out to include different styles of music, and I'm very excited to hear the complete album. On to our second and final piece of news. The next Super Cool Radio interview will be released on Friday, May 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. My guest is Craig Locicero from Forbidden, the Boneless Ones, and Dress the Dead. There has been some huge news from the Forbidden camp last month. Forbidden announced their one and only European date that will be at Alcatraz Metal Festival in Belgium. This will be the band's first live show in 11 years. New vocalist Norman Skinner will take the elite position that belonged to Russ Anderson. Norman shocked everyone who witnessed his performance of Chalice of Blood, with LA Thrasher's Warbringer accompanying him as the band. It was undeniable to all in attendance. Norman grew up in the Bay Area. His first thrash metal show was seeing Forbidden. Russ would point to Norman at shows and call him Little Russ on the mic. It could only be Norman Skinner that stands aside this band. There is so much going on for Forbidden, and I'm very happy for the band. I hope they have a great show at Alcatraz Metal Festival. I'm very excited to see what happens for the band later this year and into 2024. I had a great conversation with Craig Locicero about the rebirth of Forbidden and the plans for the Boneless Ones and Dress the Dead in the upcoming months and into next year. Here's a short clip from my interview with Craig Locicero. Check it out. So now, diving into Forbidden, as I said, leading up to this, you guys have had huge announcements this year. So really getting into it first, you guys have announced the one and only European date so far will be at the Alcatraz Metal Festival in Belgium. So what can people expect from a 2023 Forbidden show?
Enthusiasm. You know, I mean, you got to go backwards to move forwards here. And when Forbidden we didn't disband like officially in 2012. It just was kind of a fizzle, you know. Russ was not feeling good. He wasn't, you know, he was suffering from severe alcohol addiction, and it was really affecting all of his shows and his day-to-day life. And he just couldn't get up for gigs, you know. And we were flying home from that gig, and he was telling me he didn't want to do whacking because he didn't want to travel like that. He was like, you know, he'd rather, if he was going to do it, he wanted to go first class. I'm like, bro, no. So, but I mean, at that time, his head wasn't straight. So since then, he's become sober, which is a big thing. And that's why he's not doing this, because his sobriety is the most paramount thing. And, you know, he having him around alcohol every night on tour is probably, he's not one of those kind of guys that's going to just be like, okay, I've got the willpower. He knows his limits, and that's why he's not here. So having Norman is a big plus in the enthusiasm and, you know, confidence and belief in himself. Like, he's not shorted on any of those things, and he's not arrogant and he's not cocky. He's just completely comfortable in his own skin. And I noticed it the first time that he sang covers with us, you know. But there's that, and I also think that Chris Kontos is also somebody that adds a lot of confidence, flair, you know, experience. I mean, we had Mark Hernandez up until 2011, and he had to quit on tour to deal with his family stuff. which we canceled an entire European tour after that. So it wasn't really an option for me to bring Mark back. And then we had Sasha Horn, who was great, who came in for Mark, and we did that last European stuff and a few U.S. or California dates before we left. And then the whole thing just kind of fell apart, poor guy. But he's with Exhorder now, and they're kicking ass, and he lives in New Mexico. So he's a guy I talked to, and he wanted to do it, but I'm like, all these guys were out of town, and I don't really want to deal with flying people in and out for a show. So, that's a lot. That's a lot of mispractice. It's like, you know what I'm saying.
Hope you enjoyed that clip from my interview with Craig Locicero. The full conversation will be available Friday, May 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on your favorite streaming platform. Now it's time for another edition of This Week in History. What historic events happened this week? Let's dive in. On May 16th, 1969, The Who's Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey are charged with assault. The charges stem from an incident that occurred at a Who show in New York City. A police officer tried to grab the mic from Roger during Tommy to alert people that the building next door was burning down. Peter and Roger were unaware the person was an officer because he was in plain clothes and proceeded to kick the officer off the stage. The charges were later dropped. On May 17th, 2015, Blurry Face by 21 Pilots is released. This is the first album ever to have every track certified gold. On May 19th, 1998, DMX releases his debut studio album entitled It's Dark and Hell is Hot. The album debuts #1 on the Billboard 2000 chart. And that is it for this episode of Super Cool Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any topics or news you want me to cover? Let me know in the comments section. I got time to feature one more song before we go. I'm going to spin music from Vancouver-based rock band The Get-Arounds. The song I Want Something More is the first track off their album I Wanna Live. The track seems to draw on what guitarist Carmen describes as the band's influences: Ace Frehley, Sex Pistols, Steve Earle, and Blondie. I really enjoy their style of rock that combines catchy lyrics with punk rock elements, and I hope you enjoy as well. This is I Want Something More by The Get-Arounds. Check it out and enjoy.
Oh, I love living in the city. There's always something to do. Everybody wants to be somebody, and everybody loves you.
Yeah, right.
Everybody wants to find somebody. Everybody wants to know someone. Everybody wants to be somebody, and everybody wants to come undone. I want
Once again, that was I Want Something More by the Get Arounds. Please check out and support this awesome band from Vancouver. And that is it for this episode of Super Cool Radio. If you enjoyed this episode, please like this video and hit that subscribe button. I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember, stay frosty!